Hello and welcome to episode 15, my God, of Star Wars Culture Live, a fairly new podcast focusing on Star Wars excitement and connection, your escape pod for hyperspace buzz and fandom fixes. As always, I am Ian, and as always, this is Marty, and this is where the fun begins. Instead of the negativity you often find on the Star Wars side of the internet, we are here to talk about the things we love about Star Wars, how it enriches our lives, the community, the culture, the fans, the media, the new shows that are coming out the next 8 weeks or whatever. 10 weeks? I forget. But anything at all. So as always, throughout the show or after, if you have anything for us, reactions, questions, requests, suggestions for future segments, anything at all, throw them in the comments and we'll see what we can do. And don't forget to check us out on all the socials and on audio podcast sources too. That's Apple Podcasts and Spotify mainly. As usual, though, we are going to start with quick fun facts about each host to help you get to know us a little bit better each week. So, Marty, fun fact, take it away.
Okay, not so much of a fun fact today. It's more of a show and tell, just because this kind of is about to go with what I'm going to do this weekend, and it's go to a Comic-Con, but basically GalaxyCon Columbus this weekend, where I hope to see Anakin Skywalker himself. I actually have pre-ordered the autograph and a photo op for that. But I was rummaging through, trying to find this little booklet I have of where I keep all the autographs, and I came across some of the stuff that I've bought there from the last one, which is 2 years ago. And so I just wanted to kind of show that off. First thing I have is this sticker right here. Viking Vader.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I
saw this at a booth and I had to have it immediately. I didn't care how much it was. But luckily, it was cheap. I had to have it. I like Vikings in general, so just finding that was awesome. I found this coaster. They have a couple more. Hopefully, I can find them this time. The other ones will say Guinness for Alec Guinness. It'll have his face instead of this.
I actually have a T-shirt that has that Guinness thing you're talking about.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
they have the Guinness version.
Yeah, I just thought about that or the McGregor one. I was like, I'm gonna go with this one because I got James Arnold Taylor's autograph that year, so I was like, I'll just get the poster to match. I got this sticker as well. It's a Jeremy Bulloch remembrance sticker with Boba Fett.
First Boba Fett, right?
Yep, Boba Fett back in Empire Strikes Back. I got his autograph. I want to say 2016.
That's awesome.
He was a very nice guy. He didn't charge for photos like a lot of other people do. It was like if you happen to ask nicely, you just ask nicely, he'll do it. And his wife was his manager too, so she took the picture. I gotta find those pictures too. It'll pop up.
So nice.
It'll pop up in March, so maybe next week I'll start searching through Facebook, and it'll be in my next show and tell.
Yes, do that. I want to see that.
But last but not least, I have these two pins. I'm gonna get this one close first. This one is a TIE Fighter skull. Not sure how well it shows up on camera.
Rogue One, nice.
Yeah. This one was pretty cool. I love the skull. Thought it was cool. It said Rogue One. And then this one is a little ribbon of Chewbacca.
I was about to say I was like, wait a minute, I recognize that pattern for just a second. Yeah.
I think this was supposed to be like in remembrance of Peter Mayhew before he passed. After he passed. So
right.
I mean that was my kind of show and tell, more than a getting to know you, but I just kind of had to share that.
Well, I mean, we're kind of we got to get creative now after 15 episodes. How many fun facts do we have to think of?
I know it's getting really difficult.
Yeah. I have a two-parter. Number one is that I am third in the world for the number of wins in the Kessel Sabak app. I just cannot stop playing it. And there's one guy that has like over 100 wins. I'm not up there. I don't play enough, but I have like 55 or something. If you're on there, my name is Broba Fett. You'll see me on the leaderboards. I have like 55 wins, and my win percentage is also 55%, which also puts me in the top like 3 or 4 of win percentage. And I'm just gonna see how long I can hang out up there, because I win like a little over half the time, I guess, is the definition of that. But I've kept winning a lot this week. It's gone up from like 47 to 55. So I keep seeing people having like tournaments on their streams or something that you can sign up for, but it's always like when I'm working or when I'm doing something else, and I'm like, dang it. But that would be fun. The second part of my fun fact is that I am freaking tired. We had a baby in August, and I thankfully, with my job, I got a nice 12 weeks of paternity leave. So I'm very lucky for that. That was very nice. I'm very fortunate, but that ended, and now I'm back at work full time, and it's exhausting because I mean, there's no, it's just work, and then I come home, and my wife has been watching those that chaos, those oh my god, what even those maniacs, those little tornadoes of doom all day. And so like I should give her a break, and I take them, and it's like, oh my god, it's 6:45 and I'm about to pass out. But so if I forget the name of like a really main character in Star Wars on this episode, that's why, or any for the next few weeks until I reacclimate with existence. So that's my fun fact. That didn't seem very fun. Let's talk about something way more fun. Let's talk about some news. HoloNet news. Not a lot of news this week that doesn't relate to the new show that just came out, Skeleton Crew. Just kind of a blanket spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about Skeleton Crew, specifically the 2 episodes that premiered this Monday. So if you have not seen it yet and you don't want it spoiled, I'm not saying stop listening to the podcast, because we don't want you to stop listening to the podcast or watching but like pause it and then watch it later. Because we are going to talk about spoilers on here. We're going to be talking about the things that happen and the characters we saw and things that things that happened. So I don't want to spoil those for you. If we don't want to spoil those for you if you want to see it yourself. So just pause it here but come back to us later. News this week. Skeleton Crew came out. What I mean, we'll get into it later. That's like the main point of our show, but the main thing I wanted to bring up is that on Rotten Tomatoes, it's doing really, really well. I don't know what I expected, but after Acolyte, it wasn't this. I expected there to be just the normal review bombing for no real reason. But this is very nice to see that both critics and audiences generally are liking it. That they haven't pre-decided to dislike it no matter what. I think that is a good thing overall. It's nice that everyone's kind of enjoying it together. What you got news wise, Marty?
Not much. I do want to say, I mean, what's there to complain about Skeleton Crew? I mean, this show, I feel like, has it for anybody who's very nostalgic about certain things, Amblin related, really. Other newsworthy, I did see, and I can't remember the source, but apparently Star Wars Outlaws is doing a little bit better in the ratings in some places. Like they're going back through it, I guess, especially with the new DLC that just released, and they're like, you know what? I think maybe we crapped on this game a little bit, and since patches and this DLC, this game's not half bad.
Yeah. An article I saw did say that the new DLC that came out, what was it, Wildcard?
Yeah.
The new DLC was received very well, like the story in it, or the like you said, the patches. They said that improved the game for a lot of people. So maybe I don't know, maybe it just wasn't fully there at the beginning, but maybe with every new DLC or new rounds of patches and fixes, maybe it just gets to be a better and better game, which is what you want. I know they did that with Star Wars Squadrons, but eventually the update stopped. They only had dev support for like a year, and so they honed some things for the year, and then after that they were like, all right, it's done, this is the game now. And we were like, okay. And then, I mean, that was quarantine times anyway, so I went back to work and was playing a lot less anyway after that. But it was just kind of sad that it's like, oh, if someone figures out some new trick or some new like exploit, then like there's not going to do anything to adjust that. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, that's good to hear for Star Wars Outlaws. Two pieces of good news. But other than that, probably slow news. I think it might be slow for a little bit while Skeleton Crew kind of unravels. I think that's where Disney and Lucasfilm's focus is mostly for right now.
Actually, there is another one I saw. I saw an article, Entertainment Weekly, talking to Dave Filoni. Mandalorian and Grogu just finished filming, and Ahsoka season 2 is his next project.
Nice, good. I like that. Man, it's so sad to think of a world like there's a small little group of people for whom the Mandalorian and Grogu story is over. Makes me sad. The end of that,
I know.
Like after that movie, I'm gonna be like, not okay. he's like my that's like my favorite character and story of the whole thing. So, but Ahsoka season 2, good. Does Ahsoka season 2 come out before Mando Grogu?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because we still have that Heir to the Empire movie next afterwards. So I think maybe Mandalorian and Grogu was supposed to be season 4. They just decided to cut it into one movie.
Lame.
And so that'll be like the end of his individual story, I guess.
Yeah.
Before he hops over to another movie. I guess really they're trying to see how well the Mandalorian does on screen before jumping into another movie. Yeah.
Man, I mean, Grogu especially was immensely popular, I know. So I don't know. I feel like they might go. I don't know. I can't imagine they won't milk that for all it's worth. But yeah, that makes sense. That Heir to the Empire, I believe, would be Thrawn. So I believe that would be mostly Thrawn Ahsoka territory.
Well, that's just the working title that everyone seems to have it under. They might change it to something else, like Thrawn's Big Exploit, or some kind of I don't know, something else.
Just call it Thrawn. I'd watch it.
Yeah. There you
go. Cool. So that's our news. Like we said, mostly Skeleton Crew focused. But before we get to the main Skeleton Crew discussion, we are going to touch on our normal little segments here. So on this day in Star Wars history, take it away, Marty.
All right. Today, December 4th. Is it popping up? Is it one? There we go. December 4th, 2009. The Star Wars Clone Wars second season episode, Brain Invaders, airs on Cartoon Network for the first time in the U.S. I can't believe it's been that long ago, to be honest.
Yeah, 2009. Was that 15 years ago? Ugh.
Yeah.
That's a whole teenager. Yeah. that scene from that this photo is particularly is horrifying.
Oh yeah.
They so mean. Like Obi-Wan is like talking to her, like he's like, what he's like, Anakin, come on, what do you think? Enter the nose or mouth or ear? And sorry, who is that? Who's the Jedi in that photo?
Well, this
Um,
one is Barris Offee. This is the
that's
second
Barris.
episode. The first one was the one that had the Anakin and Obi-Wan talk, and it was with Luminara.
Oh, Luminara. Right. Sorry. Okay, I was mixing it up. I thought this was the scene with Luminara, and she was saying like, I would rather not find out. I'm against this plan.
Yeah.
No, this was on the.
This was on
Oh, okay. This was the
medical.
next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, this was on the medical frigate, and right after you see this photo right here, it shows the worm coming out of the clone's mouth and his eyes all backwards
Oh my god, that's right.
with the high screeching sound.
They do get her though, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my stepson really liked those episodes. He thought they were really fun. They were entertaining. I mean, I didn't know and I didn't expect any of that in the Star Wars universe. So it was all drama and suspense and
Yeah. I mean, you gotta. I mean, what we also had. We kind of had the Zillo Beast, which is like the Godzilla King Kong. Why not go the other route and have zombies?
yeah, why not? There's not really a sci-fi concept that is off limits with the Star Wars world. You just have to spin it the right way.
Oh yeah.
And if something's going to be a weird like bug, crazy brain bug situation, why not Geonosis?
Why not?
Yeah. So that's Marty's little fun segment. On to my little fun segment, which is the Star Wars dad joke of the week. Just going to launch right into it here. Why is it so difficult to tell jokes about stormtroopers? Because they usually miss the mark. Yeah, they do. That's one of the oldest. That's playing on one of the oldest jokes in the Star Wars lore of how the stormtroopers always miss. I saw one time there was like a scientific breakdown of psychological and physiological reasons why stormtroopers miss way more than like Luke or Han or Leia in the original. Mm-hmm. And it broke it down to like, number one, problems with the helmet, because in any system like that, if you give that type of armor to everybody, like it's not gonna be good. And like it's not like a Mando helmet where it like auto tracks, and it probably hurts your accuracy more than helps it. And like Han was like, I can't see a thing in this helmet, so like yeah, that probably helps or hurts them when they're trying to aim. But number two, they dove into this crazy psychology of when you have a bunch of people in masks where you can't really see their humanity, it makes you much less likely to like subconsciously miss on purpose. Like you're like Luke and Han and Leia. I mean, Han, I'm not really worried about, but Leia too. But like Luke shooting, like he, like your human. That the way that it was framing, it was like your human soul doesn't want to hit another human soul with a lethal weapon or something. And but when stormtroopers look like robots, it makes it easier, and you don't have that like holding you back. So for people like wearing armor like that, like they are much more likely to get hit than like when you're shooting at like if you're shooting at Luke in like his desert attire, like he looks completely vulnerable. And so the article said there was like a psychological component to that. They did like this. I just thought it was really funny that someone wrote that much about an old Star Wars joke.
I just based it off of the fact that like a lot of other people also think it's they missed, especially in the A New Hope, is because they want them to escape to go find the rebel base.
That I think makes a lot of sense if their military communication was on point, which at their level I highly doubt that it was. I don't know if I don't think they all had orders to let the rebels escape. But
Probably not. I don't know. I was like that. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
If that idea was had, because Darth Vader was like trying to stop Obi-Wan from whatever, like trying to stop him escape. Like he was like Obi-Wan's sacrifice was to delay Vader from getting there. So like I don't think
right.
I mean,
remember Tarkin's like, are you sure the homing beacon was securely on board? They knew they were going to escape.
That is true. I think it just doesn't match up with. I don't know.
It's a big station. Not everyone has all the communication.
Yeah, I just really don't think every stormtrooper in that hangar knew was on the same page with all those orders. Let the rebels escape so we can. That's not how it. It's not how it hit me as a viewer, but it's possible. That would explain a lot, yes, about their aim. Also, I don't know if I would, as a stormtrooper, I don't know if I'd want to be laying down my life for a diversion like that. But I mean, I also probably wouldn't join the Empire, so it seems like they're signing up for that kind of thing. Anyway, longest dad joke of the week segment ever. All right, let's move on to the main event. Skeleton Crew reactions. It premiered Monday night. I saw it Tuesday night. I probably should have watched it again today to get all the details back in there, but I remember it pretty well. It's pretty hard to forget. There was really, really good stuff. Just give me your just basic reaction first. Like, what'd you think?
Okay, so I actually kind of had to break it up a little bit. I watch it on my lunch breaks. So I was able to watch the first episode Tuesday and then the second episode literally today. So the second episode's a little bit more fresh. But the first episode, I was hooked like literally 5 minutes into it. Like I like these kids. I don't know why. I just like them, especially Neil. You can't go wrong with Neil.
So likable.
Yeah, they're so likable, and they're like every kid who's watched Star Wars. They have their own little lightsaber toys. They have fake duels. I mean, it felt relatable, and I liked it.
Yeah, they one of the articles I was when we were scouring for news, one of the articles I saw was like Wim is just a Star Wars fan. He's like a Star Wars fan that lives on a Star Wars planet. He's like playing his Star Wars game with a guy with a lightsaber against a giant monster. Like that's what Star Wars fans do. I did that like playing Force Unleashed or reading about him, I guess. I don't know. I guess it wasn't quite a game. Yeah, I freaking loved it. I thought it was great. It does the exact same thing that Stranger Things did or the Goonies. Okay, before we get too far into the Goonies discussion, I never actually saw the Goonies. Don't hate me, chat. I don't know why I didn't purposely not watch it. It just never happened. I don't know. It wasn't on purpose. So if people are like, "Oh, it's like the Goonies," like, yeah, I've seen references. I know basically what the Goonies is and what's it about. I don't know. I don't know the details. Wasn't there like homework. Listen, there is very precious little time for personal movie viewing in this household. So I don't think
your kids will love it too.
Especially in Christmas season. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's true. Maybe we're for some reason we're working through the Fast and the Furious movies right now with them, but yeah, we're skipping through some parts. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we can try it with the kids. They would like that. But it was the same thing with like Stranger Things. Like there was even a part where they were walking their speeder bikes through the woods. And I was like, this is the most Stranger Things shot that I've ever seen. without strange. It's like sci-fi Stranger Things, like more sci-fi space Stranger Things, of them like just walking their bikes like through the woods.
And with their little walkie-talkies.
Yep, they got their walkie-talkies talking to their friends. They're like in school. They got their little crushes on their. Neil's got the crush on the girl. Here, let's break it down by character. I want to, since we're talking about Neil, let's talk about Neil. For some reason, I didn't notice in the trailers that Neil had hair. It just didn't. It just didn't register that Neil had like blue hair up there.
He's got a side part.
I know, it's very cute. He's like this preppy little boy.
Yeah,
it's adorable, and I just didn't ever register it to exist until I saw it in the actual show. So I thought that was really funny. He's got the little crush on I forget her name. I'm very tired.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down. And he's like the does everything right kid. He has he's studying, and he's like good with his baby brothers and sisters, whatever. He's and there was a shot that was, I thought, really meaningful, where he had Wim saw here's Wim. Wim saw him going home to his family, and his family was all like, "Wim's home," or "Neil's home, yeah, Neil's there." And then like, right after that, they show poor Wim just going home to like an empty house because his dad is working, and it was really sad. And like, there's no one to blame for that exactly. It's just a crappy situation that like his dad has to work, because we don't know anything about another parent, right?
No, I think it's just, I think his mom died. I think it was mentioned when he was studying, and he was going to bed. He's like, read stories like mom used to.
Oh, like mom used to. Yeah. Okay, so we don't know if she died or if she left or what, like specifically, but it seems like they're down to like one income or something, because he seems to be working a lot. Yeah, I think there's a lot of this that seems to echo real life, that seems to try and imitate like earthly type things, like Suburbs.
Yes.
Dude walking his dog, just like that was really funny. I mean, we saw it in the trailer, we knew it was coming, but it's still really funny, where there's like just childhood bullies and garages.
Yeah, even the main city itself was all very urban, like Earth, and it didn't throw me off for maybe less than a second. I was like, interesting, I like it, and just continued watching it.
It didn't strike me as weird until like a little bit after. It took me a few minutes to be like, there's not a lot of like futuristic things. Like, the things just kind of look Star Wars-y a little bit, but there's not speeders or like traffic lanes up in the sky. There's not like, I mean, there's planets that are like that. Naboo's not really like that, but it's still, for the technology that they have like a barrier in the sky, right? Like to protect, I guess, to protect people from leaving or arriving.
Yeah, enough to where they can't see the sky, like the stars.
Yeah. And so if they have that technology, but they don't have like speeders and flying cars everywhere, I don't know. I have questions about this world. What's it called? At Addon?
At Addon? Yeah, at Addon.
At Addon.
I got it. Yeah, let's see. I have it written down. It's AT space ATTON.
At Addon. Okay.
At Addon.
All right, let's talk about At Addon, because there were a lot of a lot of clues in mostly the second episode. Not clues, even just like hints to mysteries. Like, so I mean, it's kind of like Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were old Republic credits, right? That they had, like the ones like from the not the High Republic, but the Galactic Republic, for like from the Clone Wars era, prequel era.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Is like I'm not sure if they, when they say old Republic, as in like, the time of Darth Revan and all that, or they literally mean the time of, the Clone Wars. Because, now we got the New Republic. Is there really a difference? To me, those look like credits from the Clone Wars era.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember in the Clone Wars show, that's what the credits looked like.
Yeah,
there were just the little rectangular little bits.
Yeah.
So obviously it's like, I don't. That's just their money. Like that was his lunch money, but so they must have been, for however many years, like cut off from the rest of the galaxy. So I guess somehow their planet like became like a legend. I have questions. Like, this is one of the mysteries of the show. Like, how did their planet get cut off from the rest of the galaxy, migrating to different currency? And basically, like, how did it was it allegedly destroyed by the Death Star, or is this barrier some imperial project that is now forgotten, or what? I have questions.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Is like, it kind of feels like a Fallout, like the Fallout game. This feels like one of their vaults. They don't know the outside world, and vice versa.
Yeah. That's mystery number one that I hope that the show either answers or points us on a path to be answered later. How about what are we doing? Character by character? We did Neil. How about Fern? I loved Fern. She was the one with the guts. She's like the barbarian of the group. She like instantly was like, I took the ship. I'm your captain now, right? To this like scary droid, scary droid. And he's like, yeah.
She
that was hilarious.
She's definitely the girl who will find a way to get her way necessary.
Yeah. And I think she's and it's clearly she's bullied a lot. And so she's still at that point where any opportunity that she sees to be the one on top, not necessarily bullying, but to be the one in charge of her own destiny or of her own choices, or I think any chance where she can be in charge of what happens, where she can call the shots instead of a bully ordering her around or putting her in her place. I think that's her. I am also very curious about KB.
Yes.
First of all, are these like cybernetic implants like the mods, or just fancy glasses, or because she knows droids, she knows stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have. Sorry, go ahead.
I would say she knew how what was wrong with that speeder, like with their little speeder bike, pretty quick. She's like, "Oh yeah, this, yeah."
But I am willing to bet that she also knows physical combat. I bet she like just has downloaded a program where she's just a badass like combat expert, like even at her size, and that's gonna come out and surprise us at some point.
Yeah.
All right, who else? Excuse me. Smee. We all got that joke, right?
Yes. That's the first thing I wrote down on episode 2. It was like,
so silly. Such like that wouldn't happen if Disney didn't own Star Wars. It's a little
No.
dumb, but if you're going, you're obviously going a silly pirate direction, so why not?
I was surprised. I was surprised though, for his amount of time so far on screen. Like, I was not expecting how episode 2 to end.
Oh,
with
really?
him.
Like,
Yeah, like just how where he ends up at the end of season 2, at the end of episode 2. I was like, there's got to be more, right? I mean, there should be more. They've been boasting this guy for a while now.
wait, what am I forgetting? How did he end up in season 2?
Well, not
Or
season 2.
episode
Not
2?
season 2. They didn't they kill him? Like,
No.
yeah.
What? No, they didn't. I'm so tired. I don't remember.
Like,
There's no way he's not gone.
I don't think he's gonna be
How did he kill him?
gone, but the Wolfman killed him right there as soon as they got to their the shot. I think so. He had his back to them when they were trying to get to the little shuttle to get back to their ship, and they just shot. And the wolf guy just kind of shot him dead. I was like, "What?"
Oh, that's right. And then the little mouse crawls out of his eye hole. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, there's no way he's done. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I didn't remember that at all. Crap. I definitely should have refreshed at least episode 2. Yeah, they made him look super important. And I feel like I have seen shots from trailers that we haven't seen yet that have him in them. So I highly doubt he's down for the count. I'm sure he'll be back.
Maybe. Hopefully. I liked him just for his appearance he's already had so far.
Yeah, and he's got kind of a big name actor voicing him, right?
Yeah, he's got Nick Frost, known for working on Shaun of the Dead and all that.
Right.
Voicing him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because now you have Simon Pegg and Nick Frost working in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Something about his accent reminded me of this guy from Transformers, Jetfire. Something about him, like he was like old and janky and like I'm too old for that. Like it something about him. I got vibes. I don't know if you saw Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, but it's a great movie. You should check it out. Then there's this guy. So he's the pirate king in the beginning, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like he has to be. Otherwise, it's just a giant misdirect.
Yeah, I think he was the voice. I think he was the pirate lord in the beginning.
Captain Silvo, the guy who was trying to rob and then got mutinied.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as he spoke, I was like, "Is that Jude Law?"
Yeah,
wait, what?
I didn't hear it right away, but as once he started talking for longer, I heard like just specifics about his accent that I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Jude Law.
Now I got more questions about this guy than we started out with.
Yeah, like first of all, we were right in the other in our predictions episode about SM33 and how he was not a bad guy, even though they tried to make him look like a bad guy. But also our prediction about whether or not he's a Jedi, I honestly am still not convinced. Like, I think he is Captain Silvo. There's a prediction. It's a pretty obvious prediction, unless it's a misdirect. But I am still not convinced that he is a Jedi or is Force sensitive or something, because it kind of looked like. First of all, I know it's a piratey thing to do, but why would you leave the keys like right there in view of the cell? You know, like no one does that. Even space pirates. I don't buy it. It just smells like there could be something like that was a setup for him to like gain their trust or something. Like maybe he had like complicated like strings attached to places, because like if he could get out this whole time, why is he just now doing it? Because they have a ship? Like, sure, but like he just
Yeah.
knew eventually someone would come in here with a free ship that he could use. Like that's what he was waiting for.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm still on the fence. I feel like it's, those tricks. I think he has. For me, I feel like he has a magnet, and with that key just placed right, it's enough for that magnet to follow where it needed to go.
Yep. They showed us in Kenobi about that guy from Eternals who pretended to be a Jedi with like tricks.
Yeah.
And knowing things, and so people know who Jedi are, and I feel like they could be. Look at him. He could be crafty enough to fake. Look at him. He could fake being a Jedi. And that's the only Force thing that we have seen in the trailers and the show. That's the only thing we've seen about the Force. So yeah, but him being that captain that got mutinied against, that would totally explain why he's in the brig, like shackled up.
The more we're talking about this, the more I feel like, and this is going to be a prediction here, and I hope it isn't true. Otherwise, it's just kind of odd. What if he's the actual like? What if he's like the actual main villain of the season or the series? Kind of pulling off of like the Rings of Power, where you think Sauron. Yeah.
Where he's Sauron all along. So he's manipulating everything and interesting.
Yeah.
And we
like
obviously can't see like his end game yet because we don't know enough about the situation.
I think it's just been a cool like plot twist. I guess we'll have to wait till we get to episode 5. That's usually where like the big thing happens, and then sets the rest of the season up.
You mean when the coolest villain ever rips through all the Jedi that we know, except for 1 or 2? Yep. My God, I still think about that.
Same.
That scene. So we saw Vane. That's cool. He's there. I don't know. He wasn't overly important. Seems like he's always just like kind of a side pirate.
This guy's gonna get his break one day. He'll get his break.
He'll steal a ship or something. We got Pirate Dog. He's scary. He is. He was like walking toward him, and yeah, like you said, if he killed the droid just mercilessly at the end, wasn't really a threat, but just cold-blooded droid murder.
Yeah. I want to talk about the one on his left, our right, that alien right there. How in the beginning, how they were raiding that ship, and he just got shot in the eye and took it like a champion.
Yeah,
and still going on about his business.
Care. He didn't like, his behavior did not change at all. He didn't even like shudder or anything.
No, it was
crazy.
Okay.
And then you saw later, he was like in it looked like a tattoo parlor or something. He was like having it like lasered shut in Space Bucky's.
Yeah.
He was just it was just like a side scene. He was just like on a chair, and they were like and he was like yelling about it. But now look at him. He's got an eye patch. He's even more piratey. He's got a reason to have an eye patch because we literally saw his eye got shot out. That's so funny. This is so piratey. Look at the pistols.
Yeah, the flintlock. Yeah.
3 of them. Just why? You can't. I mean, all right.
He's played enough Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You got to have at least 4. He's got a 4th one somewhere on him.
Yep. There's probably a little teeny one tucked in his ankle.
Probably.
Did we talk about everybody? Wim, Neil, Fern, KB. Oh yeah, there's that they tried to make him look so evil.
Yeah.
Like that was the yeah,
we talked
that's
about everybody.
Yeah, that's all the main cast there. Trying to think if there was anything else.
You got the parents, but you got the parents, but we'll get to them probably a little bit more in the series.
Yeah, it was very I was stressed about him missing his exam. I was like, I know he's gonna miss his exam, but like I'm stressed about it.
I was trying to pinpoint like that exam, like that test, placement test. It felt very familiar, like it was from a dystopian book or movie I've seen or read. I was like, I've seen this before. It's like this is to determine what your life will be after this exam.
Are you thinking of like Divergent, where they take their? I mean, they don't really take a test as much. They kind of just choose, but
might be another Fallout reference because you take the goat. It is supposed to be a placement test.
Oh wait, they do take a test in Divergent.
I don't know, some kind of dystopian. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen Divergent.
I have. It's been a while, but yeah, I remember they do take a test, and they it's like they put you under, and your brain takes the test, and then they somehow watch. I don't know. And you usually get sorted into 3 or 4, 5 different options of houses or categories or whatever. But if you're Divergent, you like have qualities of all of them, and that's dangerous to society or something. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, the test, I was like, this is like a civilized, organized society. Like what if someone's sick that day? Like you missed the test, you can take it another day. Just retake the test. Why is it so?
It's to determine your future. I mean, when he missed it, luckily his dad says like, I was able to speak to your principal or whatever the higher up was called, and we're able to get you to do it again, but you got to make sure you do it.
And there's a 50-point penalty. Like,
yeah, what? It's like you got to get every question right now.
Yeah, what do you mean? It doesn't make sense. They're just setting him up. If it's truly to figure out what he's best suited for, then that's not the way to do it. Like, you're just sending him to fail somewhere.
Yeah. And speaking of those tests, hearing Neil when they're on the tram together the first time talk about math problems, I was like, what kind of math are these kids doing? I don't understand what they're talking about.
Oh, so yeah, hearing the teacher talk about like put up the problem, I was like, I don't want to go to this school.
No, I was like, I think this is the first time. I'm not even going to include Mandalorian season 3 because they were doing galactic traveling or whatever. These kids were doing math.
Yeah,
I was like, this is the first time I think we've seen Star Wars math.
Yeah, and like all the kids like wanted to be analysts, and everyone was like, it was like, oh, well, you got to be an analyst, you got to really buckle down, or those are the top jobs. And I was like, that sounds, yeah, that's interesting. I don't think that's what I feel like he wouldn't be the weird one for wanting to be like an adventurer or something.
Right.
It's just like I've never heard kids want to be analysts before. It's always like astronauts or firemen or at that age, like more action-based things. Or I think it was supposed to give us a peek into their culture, which I am very curious about with this whole barrier thing. Like if you look up into the sky when they were in the suburbs, it was like it was like a grid of these red dots. I remember that very specifically. Mm-hmm. So there is a barrier, but somehow the ship just without them doing anything at all, just was able to pass through the barrier. So I don't know what kind of barrier it is, or what kind of ship that is, or why it was just immune. But maybe the barrier is just like maybe it's just to hide the world. Maybe it's not an actual barrier at all. Maybe it's just like a cloak, like cloaking technology.
So they see it, but when people look at the planet, they don't see it. They see space. Like, oh, there's nothing here.
Yeah, like maybe it's just like cloaking technology, and it's not an actual barrier. And so is that world like self-sustaining? Like, they don't do any trade with outside anyone? Otherwise, like, people would know about the world.
Right. I mean, they're fairly they know the New Republic apparently, but because they talk about how the New Republic this and the New Republic that.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, I was like, but if you guys are a secret, how do you guys know this, and vice versa?
Yeah, they have spies. Like they can, like, the barrier, they can see out, but they can't, like, no one can see in.
I feel like this is a big government conspiracy.
Yeah, this is like one of the big mysteries about the show that we're just gonna have to wait and see, I'm sure. Along with freaking Jude Lawless over there. Yeah, so cool. Skeleton Crew. I'm pumped. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that so many other people are excited about it. I'm glad the reception is like so close to unanimously good. I see much less vitriol and stuff online. Like, you're right. There's not really anything to hate, even if you're looking. I haven't checked out Star Wars Theories pages, but I'm sure he'll find something.
I found it. I don't know if you've caught on to these, but I have like a few Easter eggs too. Starting with the beginning of the first episode, you realize how reminiscent and paying homage to A New Hope that was. The boarding party and them setting up their the crew setting up waiting to take down. All the way up until even to Jude Law picking up that guy and be like, "Where is your something?"
Yep. It's if you're not transporting credits, why is it hermetically sealed or whatever?
Yeah,
it's exactly like that quote from Darth Vader.
And then later on, when what's his name? Wim,
Wim, Wim.
Yeah, when Wim is taking that shortcut to get to school, and he's riding through the forest. To me, I feel like that was really close to the Forest of Endor scene of the speeder bike chase.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, for some reason I didn't think about that at all. Yeah, speeder bike through the woods and
and even the sound of his speeder bike sounded like those. I was like, huh. Yeah. That bully, that Fern was talking to in her garage is his name is spelled a little different, but it's basically paying a tribute to Harrison Ford's character Bob Falfa from American Graffiti.
Really?
Yeah. When they said the name, I was like, I know that name.
Wait a minute.
So this is basically a big George Lucas love letter in some way.
I did catch. Did you mention they made a reference to Aldani when they were going through the what's it called? Like the different names of planets when they were like guessing. Are you sure you don't mean Aldani? And or what's the other? They named another planet that starts with A that was in like Bad Batch or something.
Adelon.
Is that Bad Batch?
Yes, I think so.
I forget. Adelon, yeah. Are you sure you don't mean Adelon or Aldani? And they referenced 2 other Star Wars shows. I did catch that, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and then the last one I thought was kind of neat. I don't know if anyone during that tattoo when they're running through the tattoo parlor, there is This
Yes, I did see this. I remember this. I saw it. But yes, that's the
that
Hut
logo
Cartel.
right there. Yes. I was like, huh. I don't know if anyone else caught that because that's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, that logo looks very familiar.
Yep. The only reason I know that is because of in Star Wars Squadrons there was another team that they called themselves the Hut Cartel, and they had that as their logo. That's the only reason I know the logo for that. But I saw that and I was like, oh snap! But
Yeah, it
that
took me a while.
like, okay, imagine like how like why would you get a tattoo of the Hut Cartel on your arm?
Right? I
Like,
mean,
you're so does that mean that we're kind of near Tatooine or now Hutta?
and then what's the like? I know the status of the Hut cartel is really kind of shaky since Jabba died, and it's those
Right.
two cousins of his.
Right. Like this is if this is supposed to be taking place like after Book of Boba Fett, like the Hutts, they're not in the strongest of places right now. So like they're not hiring I can't see them hiring new foot soldiers. So why is someone getting a Hut cartel tattoo on their arm? That just seems so. And this is a pirate base. Like he took them to a pirate base for pirates.
Right.
Like I get that I'm sure the Hutts employ a lot of pirates and smugglers, but like I don't know. Are they? That's that. I was excited that I recognized it, but I was I was. It struck me as weird. Yeah. Any more Easter eggs?
Those are the ones that I was all able. Those were the ones that I was able to catch. There's probably some more. Oh, I mean, you can check out a few more that StarWars.com has on their episode guide. They have like a 5-slide trivia of things.
Oh.
Yeah, but I found the Bob Falfa one without the help of that one. That was the first thing that popped out to me.
Yeah, I have never seen American Graffiti, so I would never have caught that. But that's a good catch. Well done. That's a deep cut right there. Wait a minute. That's awesome. Yeah, let's lead with. I didn't even think about talking about Easter eggs. Let's lead with the Easter eggs next time because that's a super fun thing to look for. Yeah, those were really fun. I forgot almost all of them until you started talking about them, but every single one I turned to my wife and I was like, babe, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and mentally in my head, I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, ooh, I know that.
Mm-hmm. It's like
those memes.
That tattoo is the Hut Cartel. She's like, what?
It took me a second. I was like, because I couldn't remember the name of the cartel. I was like, okay, this is a gang. I even drew the logo out. I was like, where's this from? And then I was like, okay, Star Wars gangs. First thing popped up was Hut Cartel. I was like, you idiot.
I want to know, like, first of all, I want to know what that image has to do with the Hutts. Like, it looked like an anchor. I don't know. I have questions about the image, but I'm like, at what point in the life of a criminal organization or a crime syndicate like that, at what point do they hire a graphic designer to create a logo for themselves? Like when is that point? Like when are they like, what's Jabba just like, you know what we need? We need a logo. And he's like, I drew this. And then his family's like, yeah, that looks good. Like when does that happen in the process? And like, do they like, I want to be in the room for those conversations. Do they call like a meeting together to discuss it? Do they like, do they all have different ideas and they all pitch in like a creative session? I don't know. I want to be there and observe that part of the foundation, the formation of the crime syndicate. I want to be there for that specific meeting.
Yeah.
I'm just so curious. As a person who works in social media and the creative arts, I have questions. All right, so Skeleton Crew. I think that's all I got right now for the first 2 episodes. Like, I'll probably watch them again this week sometime and be like, "Oh man, I should have talked about this." But then
Right?
we'll hit it. We'll hit it next week along with the next episode. So, what do you think? If you're in the chat, if you're listening to this later, tell us what you thought about Skeleton Crew. It seems to be a hit, like on Rotten Tomatoes, like we said, above 80 on both critics and audiences. If you were alive in the 80s and saw 80s, Goonies type movies, if you like Stranger Things or you like those nostalgic hits at all, I like it. There seems to be something for everybody. Yeah, let us know what you think. And we're going to move on to our last segment, which is a special edition of trivia. It's just one question, and it's about these Skeleton Crew episodes. So, Marty, hit us with it.
All right. So I thought it was fun. Just call it one shot trivia challenge. As Ian said, it's just one question taken from both episodes of Skeleton Crew. I might be doing that while we're doing these reviews. Just do one shot questions just based off of these episodes. Just that way it's not a lot of time, and I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying trying to think outside the box to see if people are actually watching at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And this one's also kind of an Easter egg question. So if you know your Easter eggs, you might know this question. But without further ado,
gimme.
The droid driving the tram is what series of droid?
I don't know.
Is it A dumb series, B, a C1 series, B C1 series, C, RX series, or D, a LEP series?
In no universe do I know this. I recognized it. I definitely recognized the type of droid, but I don't know what the thing is.
Yeah, for the people who, I guess, you kind of help visualize, kind of need to remember this part of the season episodes. It's the first episode where they're literally on the tram. It's that droid there, and you've seen his type before in other places and shows. But without further ado, here is the answer. And that is C, the RX series.
All right. Let me look it up. RX droid.
He first was used in Star Tours back in the 80s.
Star Tours. That's why I recognize him.
He's also in Star Wars Rebels as a transporter pilot droid. He's also in, Death Series droid is also in Galaxy's Edge at the cantina.
That's him. He's the bartender, or not the bartender. Sorry, he's the DJ doing the tunes.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been there. I've been there twice. I've been to the Orlando one once and the California one once. But they he's the one like talking and doing tunes and all that. And I think I have seen him. They have him around Star Tours. He's not the droid that does it anymore, but he's the one. He's around. I've definitely seen him. I did not make that. I just saw a droid I recognized and did not make that connection. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. This is the Easter egg. I think this is the first one in the in any Star Wars show or whatnot in general. I'm not sure about in Galaxy's Edge, but this is the first one not voiced by Paul Rubin, who was Pee Wee Herman. He voiced it in Star Tours, and he did it in reprisal for Rebels.
Wow. No, I had no idea. That's awesome. Wow. All right. Well, I learned something today. I appreciate the show even more now for those now that we talked about the Easter eggs. Wow, those are cool. I'm gonna have to pay special attention to them. Maybe I'll try and write them down like you did. That seemed to help. I'm tired. Slipped straight out of my brain. Yeah, anyway, so that's the end of trivia, and that is our show. We hope you enjoy what we're doing here. We know Star Wars fandom and comment sections can sometimes get kind of dark and toxic, but remember, it does not have to be that way. We are trying to bring fun and positivity to the Star Wars side of the internet. Remember, there are more of us. So again, if you have anything for us, questions, requests, suggestions for segments, anything at all, especially reactions to Skeleton Crew, throw them in the comments and we will see what we can do. Don't forget to follow us. We are our podcast is SW Culture Live everywhere on every platform, every channel. That's us. It's all unified now at SW Culture Live, and equally on almost all those platforms. I am at Nerdiest Stepdad, and he is at Marty21794. Right there. That's right. And so don't forget to follow us, follow the podcast. Thank you for listening. So next week we're gonna go over episode 3, and I think for the mostly the plan for the podcast is to focus mostly on Skeleton Crew, unless there's some big news that breaks and is worthy of discussion. So so look forward to that. Look forward to episode 3 next week, and we will see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. May the Force be with you.